Mambo Team Africa Worldwide, Habari ya Asubui, Habari ya Mchana, Habari ya Jioni. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I missed last Sunday's upload. Pole Sana means I'm very sorry. Uh, I try to post every Sunday, whether I go live or if it's a recording. Today I'm recording the upload. It's a little after 10 p.m., so I almost missed Sunday upload again. I was not going to let that happen. For those who don't know, this channel is primarily about my journey as a student of Kiswahili, Mwanafunzi. However, I talk about other things. We discuss what's going on in Africa. We discuss travel. We discuss repatriation. We discuss a little bit of politics, current events, history, things of that matter. Um, you know, People sometimes call themselves Pan-African. They have different definitions to that. Black nationalists, different definitions to that, and Afrocentric, different definitions of that. And I think I would consider myself a little bit of all of the above. Um, Let me just give you a little update about me. I used to travel to Africa, East Africa, frequently. I starting in 2018, for my birthday, I went to Mombasa, Kenya. Um, I went back to Kenya, but to Nairobi 3 times after that. Made my decision that I was going to repatriate to East Africa, but I chose Tanzania because I was a really big fan of the politics of the former Rais, which means President John Michael Foley. I really think that he is the best president in the world of all time. Uh, I really love the memory of that ancestor, and I like his policies, and so I gravitated towards Tanzania. Um, but in spite of that, I have to be honest, Nairobi is still my favorite city in the whole world. I really have fun there, but I've spent time in Arusha. I've lived there. If you watch my videos, you'll see a video where I do a tour of my apartment to show you what you can get for $400 a month in the city of Arusha. Um, I spent even more time in Dar es Salaam. Um, I currently live in Dar es Salaam. However, I am currently on vacation or a holiday, as people tend to say in Europe. I'm on holiday in Detroit, uh, United States, USA, visiting family and friends, just checking on my property and different things like that, just handling business. But I will be returning home uh, in a little bit, a little bit now. I don't want to say exactly. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I can't give y'all all the intimate, gritty details, but I will let you know when I'm back home on the beautiful East African Ocean. um, what I can say about this, a lot of people be in the comments making all types of crazy comments and criticisms of YouTubers and YouTubers. Uh, who are Pan-African and specifically Pan-African YouTubers from the United States. And I'm going to just tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy um, traveling to Africa, living in Africa. It's not easy being a YouTuber unless, if you're in a position where YouTube can be your primary source of income, then it might not be too bad. But If you work a full-time job like I do, you put in your 40, 50 hours in your full-time job, and then you're balancing your your family and friends in both places, and you're doing YouTube on top of that. You have to come up with an idea. Then you have to record or go live, and then you have to come back and edit. And then after you edit, you promote promotions on other platforms like Facebook and IG and TikTok. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't do all of that stuff. But I'm just gonna start doing better. I've been working on an intro slide, so look out for that. I have a cousin who is a music producer. His name is Blake Monk. Shout out to him. He uh, he lent me a track, and I'm an MC. Um, that's always been hip hop has always been a part of my DNA, and so some people will say I should be retired from that, but it's not that I'm trying to uh, become a recording artist, but I can do my own bars when it comes to an intro reel for my YouTube channel. So I'm working on that. Look out for that. I think it's going to be hot, and y'all can let me know. But yeah, so it's not easy being a YouTuber, and it's definitely not easy repatriating to Africa. And anybody who think that it is, I invite you to try it. You'll find out really soon. I have been at this since 2018, and I've seen a lot of YouTubers come and go. I've seen a lot of repatriates come and go. Um, so, yeah, if you don't have the right mind state, um, you know, this dream will turn into a nightmare and eat you alive. Um, you'll run out of financial resources, or you'll run out of patience, or you'll just run out of grit, or you'll run out of wit, you know. And because a lot of times, we have a misconception about how it's going to be. And one mistake I made, I thought that Tanzania uh, was going to be a lot like Kenya. And I mean, there's some similarities, but there are a lot of differences too. And so, even though I had been to, as I said, Kenya 4 times prior to moving to Tanzania, it was still a really, really big culture shock. Um, Economically, Tanzania is not as well off as Kenya, and Nairobi, my favorite country in the world, has a reputation in which a lot of people call it Nairobi. Even people from Kenya, people in Mombasa. You tell people in Mombasa you're going to Nairobi, they say, why would you go to Nairobi? But it's really not that bad to be. It's actually a lot safer than the city I'm currently in, Detroit, Michigan, USA. If you check the stats and compare it per capita, Detroit is far more dangerous. But in Dar and Arusha, due to the financial situations, um, doing any type of business is hard. I don't care if you're doing business with a property owner, trying to find a place to live, or if you're doing business with, drivers. They don't even have Uber drivers anymore. There's a competitive company called Bolt, but I think Uber said, "Forget it. We're gonna get out of this market," because the drivers they kind of live day to day. I love the brothers, but it's like they really have to learn business acumen. They don't have a lot of business acumen, and so they don't know how to build up a loyal customer base, and they think about only today and each customer by customer. And so they try to, get as much as they can. If I could say that the most respectful way, they try to get as much as they can from each transaction, which could lead to hard feelings, and I guess it wasn't really working out. And Uber just packed up. You can still get a Boda or a tuk-tuk on Uber, but you no longer can get a car on Uber in Dar or Arusha. But Bolt is still there, and hopefully they won't leave us. Because then we have to go back to going to taxi cabs again. You know how that could be. Even in the U.S., prior to Uber coming out, taxis were taxing. They were taxing the people. It was ridiculous. So that's something to get used to because you're like, brother, sister, Kaka, Dada, we're in Dugu, what's up? Let's be fair with one another, I support your business and you give me a fair price, but that Pan African brotherhood and sense of cooperation that we learned during the Kwanzaa holiday is not here yet. Not saying that it can't get here. Not saying that most people don't have a good heart at the end of the day. I think most people do, but when when you're struggling and you've been beat before, then your guard is up and you're trying to beat the next man or next woman before they beat you. You know, it's unfortunate. And so when you come from the States and you come to Africa and people look at you like a walking ATM, or they look at you as an opportunity to come up rather than somebody who is showing love and coming to contribute and help build and just increase the greatness of Africa so it can live up to be everything that the Most High Creator uh, designed it to be. You could be taken aback. You could be turned off. So the thing is, in order to survive this, you have to love Watu more than Watu love themselves. That's what it is, or you'll bow your head, and take off. You got to know how to be firm with people. You have to learn this language, Kiswahili. In Kenya, you can get by with English, but you're never going to integrate or fit in if you don't eventually like learn a significant amount of Kiswahili, and that's even more so in Tanzania. It's many people who don't know much English at all. When you're in the cities near the tourist area, practically everybody speaks some English, but and you can get by. But you really want to learn Kiswahili so that you can interact with brothers and sisters, even though you have an accent. If they know that you've taken the time and effort to become conversational with Kiswahili, it's a certain amount of respect that goes along with that, and they know that they can't treat you like an average tourist. I remember one time, I was staying in the Airbnb in the Masaki area or Oyster Bay area, and I walked up to the main road, and it's a little far. It was a nice little walk. Some people might not consider it walking distance, but I like to walk, so it's walking distance for me. And but then on the way back, I said, well, let me be lazy on the way back and get me a tuk-tuk. That's what they call them in Kenya, the little three wheel carts. But there's another word for it in Tanzania. I think it's like bajaji, something like that. I always forget because I first learned tuk-tuk, so I still call it tuk-tuk. But anyway, I get on the tuk-tuk with the driver, and we negotiate the price. And then when he turns the corner and he sees where I'm staying, he tries to change the price. And so I tell him, it's not going down like that. I walked up there And so, this is walking distance. I know how far I am. I Timbea, nearly Timbea. That means I walked. And I say, you know, I know the price would be like Nina Jua means I know. Nina Jua Bay. Bay means price. Nina Joy Bay, I know the price. And so the driver said to me in English, "You know too much Swahili." So I found that amusing. Um, but it's a labor of love. It's like everywhere I go, I try to explain uh, to people what my mission is and what the mission of most Pan Africans is. And I try to give them a little bit of history because, believe it or not, a lot of continental Africans they don't know the history of African Americans. A lot of them don't know that our ancestors come from the continent and what happened to them. And it's crazy because a lot of them not really even thorough in the history of their own countries. They might try to tell you, some people will say, well, you're not really an African because you don't know all the traditions. And, they might know a few traditions here and there, but a lot of times they don't know the history of the politics of their country. You know, they most of them don't know that if they do, if they are old enough to remember colonialism, prior to neo-colonialism, they don't know that the so-called slave trade. I hate to call it that because my ancestors weren't slaves; they were Africans. They got caught in a bad situation, but um, for sake of conversation, uh, you know, they don't know that it was the slave trade that weakened Africa that put them in the position where they could be colonized. And and so, you know, their ancestors were kidnapped, who were my ancestors as well. They don't know that. And a lot of people try to relegate us to just West Africa or West Central Africa, but the more research you do, you'll find out that African Americans are mixed with practically, uh, DNA from almost every location in Africa, because there was a lot of migration. There's a lot of migration that took place over the centuries and millennia, where East Africans migrated to West Africa, Africans migrated to South Africa, and it was a lot of mixing, and also um, there were, in some instances, um, slaves who were taken from the east of Africa, who were held in places like Zanzibar and Madagascar, and they would go around South Africa, around the Cape, and then they will participate in the transatlantic slave trade. In fact, recently, some ruins of one of the ships that crashed and sank near the Cape was discovered. So, um, and they actually have a fort in Mombasa, Kenya, called Fort Jesus, of all things. And they're allowed to tell you that, well, that was just a Portuguese military fort, but no, they traded slaves there, just like they traded slaves at the spice market. And all of those slaves didn't go to the Middle East, you know, as people want to be told. So it's like, and well, a lot of people, people use the phrase Bantu, and Bantu just means people. But anyway, Kiswahili is from the Bantu family of languages, even though it has influence from other languages, like all languages have influences from other languages. Um, a lot of times people will say, well, Kiswahili is just uh, Arabic, and it's like, no. Arabic had just as much influence on Spanish and Portuguese, because the Moors took over the Iberian Peninsula for hundreds of years. Nobody ever says Spanish is not its own real language. They never say Portuguese is not its own real language, just because of the influence of Arabic. Like the word mesa, for example, means table in Arabic. It means table in Kiswahili. It means table in Spanish, and I believe it means table in Portuguese. So um, their influences, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a Bantu language. And if anybody know anything about the Bantu migration, um, you know, at one time, not that they started, but one time the Bantus were in the area now known as Cameroon, right next door to um, Nigeria, where people always say we're from, and one of the DNA companies, after saying I had less than 1% Nigerian, came back and said that I had like 34%, which was my largest DNA. So I don't really know about those percentage DNA companies. They change the results a lot, but you know, but that notwithstanding, they said that those people migrated to the south and to the east. So that means that people, the Bantus that are in Kenya and the Bantus that are in Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, they came from West Africa. So it's like they try to divide us. They try to divide African people up. The African people go for it. We're so tribal. We always we set trip. I want to say, like, I know in California, even though I haven't spent a lot of time in California, I know in California they have an expression called set tripping. It was set, I believe it's short for section. They're really saying that, set tripping is when somebody is, basically drilling somebody who's from a different neighborhood that they don't know is a stranger in their neighborhood, even though they're both black people. They're both from the Los Angeles greater area. But since I don't know you, and you might not be wearing the same colors that I'm wearing or the same shoes that I'm wearing, that you're not in my same gang, so I may potentially rob you or kill you because you're not from my set, you're not from my section, you know. I guess that's in our DNA because when you get to Africa, it's like that, when you when you tell people that you're African, they want to know what tribe you're from, basically what set you claiming, fool, And it's like they don't really understand the concept of being mixed with a variety of African DNA, you know. So, when people try to make the argument, well, you weren't born in Africa, so you're not really as African as a person in continental Africa. It's like I could easily make the argument where I'm more African because if I have DNA from West Africa, South Africa, East Africa, North Africa, and you only have DNA from one of the regions, I got DNA from all the regions, you know, debatably, I would not want to say I'm more African than anybody, but I can't make that argument. I'm more African than you because I have more varieties of African DNA uh, flowing through my veins. So that's why we shouldn't get into those type of games. African is an African. You respect me and I respect you. Um, but I'm a promoter of Kiswahili, and I think promoting Kiswahili will help change this tribal, cliquish, set claiming uh, condition that the African people are in. I think it's very hard, maybe to claim relation to another people if you can't even communicate. Or if you do communicate, you're using the language of the colonizer, like the one that I'm speaking right now. If you're using King Reza, Kizungu, you're speaking this, and that's the only way you can speak to another African. But then that African can speak another language that's African and talk to other Africans, and you can't. Then that's a problem. And so that's why I'm not saying that Kiswahili is the only language that anybody should learn, but I think it should be primary. I mean, I'm not saying that don't learn Twi or Tree. I'm not saying don't learn Igbo. Igbo. I'm not saying don't learn Wolof. Don't learn Fong. Don't learn Hausa. I'm not saying that. Uh, um, but the great example is like East Africa. Like you have like people like the Kikuyu. Kikuyu have their own language, but they also know Kiswahili. You have the Luas, they have their own language. They still know Kiswahili. The Luyas, Mandarins. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. There's Kalajans, um, and then all of the different tribes in Tanzania, the Iraqi, the Maasai, the Ngogo. All these people, they have their own languages, but they still speak Kiswahili and they speak Kizungu. So, when they're amongst their family, they can speak the tribal language, but then when they get amongst other East Africans, they speak Kiswahili. So Kiswahili has already been extremely successful in bringing different tribal groups together. And there are a lot of resources out there to learn Kiswahili. Now, the resources do need improvement, but I would challenge you to find as many resources to learn any other African language and compare it to the resources that are available to learn Kiswahili. Now, I'm not saying there's not as many resources to learn Kiswahili as it is to learn European and Asian languages. No, it's not. Of course not. And once you start studying, you will probably become a little disenchanted with a lot of the apps that are out here. You can tell that the apps have been created with the European tourists in mind, the European predators in mind, because some of the sentences that they teach you to say, you'll think like, why in the world am I learning to say this sentence? Uh, and so, one of my overall goals, besides becoming a teacher of Kiswahili, is to, I work in IT. That's my day job, and so I plan on starting a software company and producing Kiswahili materials. Um, this is my passion. Everybody thinks everything is a hustle, but I think it's smart to try to capitalize off that what you love. If you love playing basketball and you get paid for playing basketball, that's great. If you love singing and you get paid for singing, that's great. Same with dancing, same with acting, uh, same with whatever a person may do. May it be healing people, they're a doctor, may it be um, you know construction, if they build houses or buildings, or they're a plumber, electrician, whatever you really like. And me, yeah, I do IT, but I also love studying Kiswahili. And so I believe if I blend the two together and I create a Swahili app, and I get able to, I put myself in a position where my love, what I love to do, can sustain me and pay for uh, the upkeep of me and my family, then I think that would be a blessing. That's not in any way discernible. And so that's what I mean when it comes to a lot of our people. We think if somebody is trying to get paid, then all of a sudden, they're a scammer, they're a grifter, they're a con artist, they're this or that. And my thing is, well, they're only that if they're being dishonest about something, they're misrepresenting themselves in any type of way, or if they are not giving you um, uh, product or services in exchange. Or but if you enjoy that person's content and you pay for that person's content or whatever else it is that they offer for market, um, there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what I was talking about earlier when I talk about the definitions of Pan-Africanism. There are some people They have a definition where they include scientific socialism. I do not. I don't believe in socialism. I believe socialism is a trap to keep people poor. Um, but I think that we can better ourselves, we can better Africa, and we can all come up just because, you know, Mzungu, his version of capitalism was barbaric. Doesn't mean that we can't take aspects of capitalism, aspects of socialism, aspects of Ubuntu, just aspects of, and have a new mixed economic system. As far as just ripping down what we already got and started from scratch, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because first of all, you got to finance that, you know. And so how are you going to finance that if you don't get money? So, my thing is I believe what Booker T. Washington said, cast down your buckets where you are. And so currently we have a certain economic system and people are taking advantage of it every day. Um, and African Americans were very successful under the current economic system. They started towns all over America, and it wasn't the economic system that held them back. What it was jealousy of wannabe white supremacists who destroyed those towns. And it just wasn't Tulsa, Oklahoma. It wasn't just Rosewood, Florida. It was towns all over America, and or sections of towns. Like even here in Detroit, there is a section called Black Bottom, um, on Paradise Valley, and it was all types of businesses there. The people were just flourishing, and Mzungu built a expressway straight through the business district. And that type of things happen all over America. They think of some type of way to destroy what you have due to racism. So the economic system isn't the enemy. Um, just the evil of certain people is in the racism, racism and the misconception or the wannabe white supremacy because they're not supreme. They're nobody supreme to me. But that's what has destroyed us every time. It hasn't been the economic system holding us back. And so anybody who's trying to improve themselves financially and if they're honestly trying to improve other members of the family financially without cheating anybody, without ripping anybody off, you know, I think that's honorable. That's what we need in the community, and hopefully these people who see making a profit as the root of all evil will wake up and figure out the error of their ways. Because I'm going to tell you, I used to be like that. Um, I read a lot of Black Panther Party material back in the day, to seize the time, to die for the people. From there, reading the Communist Manifesto, and you mix that in a big gumbo with the Gospels of the Bible, it'll make you think that trying to improve yourself financially is a bad thing, but no, it is not. And so I'm going to be straight transparent and let everybody know that as much as I want to master Kiswahili for my own personal cultural development, to be able to communicate with my people, and I want all of us to learn Kiswahili so we can communicate with each other and work together in unity. I also plan to produce some products and some services, and to be compensated for the time, effort, and money that I put into this endeavor over the years. So, with that being said, I think this video is long enough. I will be back home in East Africa very soon, and I'll probably shoot a few more videos up until that time, but I will let y'all know when I'm back. If you have any questions about the Kiswahili language. If you have any questions about repatriation to um, Africa, I can't speak to every country, but I know a little bit about East Africa. I can help there, and just put those questions in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram title is Team Africa Worldwide. Uh, and that being said, Asante Sana for watching. Kwaheri Kwasasa. And please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. Amani.